Hey guys, it's Michael, the Hidden Cash Prepper, and you're watching the Hidden Cash Prepper. Thanks for joining us. Today I'm going to talk about how I got ready for what I got ready for. Before we get started, two quick things. First off, I've placed in the comments section a checklist that you can use to jumpstart your preps in 30 days. So download it and get after it. Second, we're all different and we all live differently based upon our gender, age, education, economics, culture, religion, and a host of other factors. So it's critical that your preparations and your plans are tailored specifically to where you live and how you live. So having said all that, what did I prepare for and how did I do it? So I examined my situation here in Chicago, and it occurred to me that there's really 4 scenarios I need to be prepared for in no particular order: civil unrest, supply chain disruption, personal crisis, extreme weather event, and power outage. That was it. As I've said before, and you may have figured it out, you simply cannot prepare for everything. The universe, the world, they're too vast, it's too complex, and our minds simply can't grasp the scale of sufficiently large events. So I stuck with the 4 things that are most likely to impact me in my life here in Chicago. Civil unrest. This is not going to be a sudden onset event. Rather, it's going to be something that unfolds over days or weeks, usually going to be followed by things such as political activity. There may be some event that triggers it, such as an arrest or some high profile crime. So while I'm not really big into watching the news, I keep a kind of close tabs just on what's going on in a local aspect, just so that I know what's going on and what I'm going to need to do. Personal crisis. This could be anything from I lose my job, I suffer a mental health crisis, I am severely physically injured, or a near-death experience from illness or some sort. So this is important because we tend to think of crises as always those that are imposed upon us rather than something that we maybe create ourselves, or just kind of how we respond to things. So don't overlook the personal crises, and you certainly want to make sure that you have a plan in place to address those types of events. Power outages and extreme weather. So Chicago is fairly stable in that the power doesn't normally go out in the winter, which really wouldn't be very fun or terribly safe when it's negative 15 degrees outside. Conversely, in the summer, when it's 90 degrees with 88% humidity, there's not much fun to be had there either. So 2 things occurred to me: staying cool in the summer, warm in the winter, and making sure I've got access to fresh food and drinkable water. That was it. Finally, supply chain disruptions. So first off, I view the COVID-19 pandemic as one massive supply chain disruption. Many of you will recall that you would go to stores, there's no hand sanitizer, there's no water, there's no paper towel, no toilet paper, no cleaning supplies. So that was an eye-opener for me, and I imagine a lot of others as well. So it was that wake-up call. Yeah, it's real. The supply chain can only absorb so much disruption before it simply collapses and isn't able to continue. Most grocery stores only have enough food for 3 days, and at that point they need to be restocked. So if you are able to hold out and you go to the store but there's nothing there, so again, you simply have to have access to food and water, and preferably it's something that you have made arrangements to have on hand for yourself and those in your network when the time comes. So those are the 4 events that I prepared for. So within that, it was important that I address the following things: food and water, and how to store both safely for the long term; power, how to power my refrigerator and my freezer, how to make sure I had lights; communications. This is not only just a cell phone, but I picked up a couple of shortwave radios. I also picked up a couple of walkie-talkies just to make sure I'd have a way of contacting my family and my local friends in the event the communications infrastructure was no longer available. Access to my important documents, to include medical records. Of course, I want to make sure I have cash on hand. Also things such as copies of life insurance policies, auto and home insurance policies, renter's insurance policies, those types of things. You want to make sure that you've got your important documents in a place where you can quickly grab them. Also, extreme caution should be advised if you ever take these things out of your home. If you lose them, you've just given someone keys to Shanghai your identity and take over your life. So make sure you keep those things safe. Access to medical, which includes prescription medications and first aid, should it become available, should it become necessary. Hygiene and personal care, you want to make sure you're taking showers and brushing your teeth, all the daily things that are never fun but quite necessary. Pet supplies, if you have pets, you want to make sure you're providing for them. They need food, they need medical attention. They also might need a comfort device, a favorite blanket, a toy. They may also need to be kept in a kennel or kept on a leash or a muzzle. So again, you want to make sure you've got your pets well provided for in your plans. And finally, just a miscellaneous category, which includes things like tools, tarps, tools, tarps, a bunch of other stuff. So like I said, it's a miscellaneous category, so it kind of really does cover quite a bit of stuff. But anyway, that was what I prepared for, and I used those 13 points to get me prepared. So down in the comments, as I mentioned earlier, is a checklist available for download. Use it to get after it. As always, I thank you for your support. If you have not done so already, please click that subscribe button, give me a like, and I'll see you in the next video.